Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Saturday Slam review. We got our first retro pay-per-view review of Wrestlemania 17 coming up in just a bit here. But we would be remiss if we didn't talk about some of the crazy things happening in present-day wrestling, such as Chris Jericho to wrestle Kenny Omega for the IWGP United States Championship at Wrestle Kingdom this year. And the ultimate what the fuck is going on anymore move there.
Oh, the world is in turmoil. The gender has been hindered.
The gender has been hindered. For the first time ever, the WWE Championship has changed hands overseas. AJ Styles is once again WWE Champion. He will wrestle Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series. I'm not sure what the story there is, why they did the title change.
Did it happen in India?
No, it happened in Manchester, England.
Oh, because otherwise I was gonna say that's the mother of all fucking lose it in your hometown.
They don't go to India until December, I think. And Jinder may well get the title back there or whatnot. I'm not sure what the plan is. I don't know any of the details. I'll know probably more next week when we do Survivor Series predictions. And then I'll share what I know at that point. But right now, it's AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar. You know what probably is at least part of it is the fact that they looked at the roster of champions because they're doing champion versus champion for everything in Survivor Series. They're like, oh, fuck, they're all heels because we don't know how to book a babyface champion. We need to do some title changes right now.
You've lost it. Oh.
The Shield also dropped their tag titles back to Sheamus and Cesaro, but it's not the worst thing in the world because the Usos versus Sheamus and Cesaro will still be a great match. And we're also getting another good match, probably, the New Day versus the Shield in a six-man, which, so now Survivor Series went from a one-match card to like a four-match card in just a week here, and it's maybe going to get better because I have a feeling that Natalya is dropping the Women's Championship to Charlotte on Tuesday in SmackDown. Because she's on the poster and Natalya's not. So they may have given some spoilers there.
Oh man, I feel like I duck out for a week and just the entire universe spins underneath me.
I didn't watch Raw or SmackDown last week, and I just woke up to like 7 texts telling me all this crazy shit that happened. They're like, oh yeah, Jericho's wrestling Omega and AJ Styles is WWE Champion. And I'm like, this was not the case when I went to bed. What the hell happened?
So Kafka-esque.
Yeah. Anyway, let's begin our Raw boycott here with our review of WrestleMania 17. Some may say the greatest pay-per-view ever. Some may say the greatest WrestleMania ever. We shall see. All right, so we open with your typical WrestleMania video package showing some highlights from past WrestleManias, as is, they do it all the time, even not on special anniversary WrestleManias. This whole show was a celebration because WWF had just bought WCW, and they were riding high because they won the Monday Night War. Although I suppose it's probably more accurate to say WCW lost the Monday Night War.
Considering.
Paul Heyman and JR on commentary. Paul Heyman is very excited to be part of WrestleMania. He's never had a crowd this big before.
Oh, that was one thing. Well, I'll say it before we start all of this. The commentary so noticeably better.
So much better, yeah. No, so forced. Oh my! And big impact and vintage insert wrestler name here.
Yeah, it was good. It was clear. There was the good play-by-play. See, the thing was, I listened to the commentary here. I do not listen to the commentary of the modern pay-per-views. I'm just like, it just.
Sometimes I actually listen to the pay-per-views in Spanish because they get very excited. Anyway, so let's start with our first
Yeah.
match here. We have Chris
Much
Jericho.
more exciting time.
Yeah. We have Chris Jericho jerking
Yeah,
the
but we had some
curtain.
commentary going on here. We had fucking give him the soup bowls since proboscis.
Proboscis, yeah, that's a good one. Anyway, so we start off here with Chris Jericho jerking the curtain on the big show. We have Jericho versus Regal for the IC title. Regal is looking like he's 40, despite being maybe 28 at this point in time. In the opening promo package here, they show Jericho pissing in the teapot and doing the doink thing, which caused HBK, strung out on drugs, to be horribly confused, thinking that he was going to be doink from now on. So match starts. Regal gets the heat on Jericho for a bit. Jericho comes back with some shoulder tackles, and this auto-corrected to a crossville over the top. I'm pretty sure I meant to say a high cross over the top. They do some nice chain wrestling. Regal posts Jericho a couple of times. Regal getting the heat back on Jericho. Regal blocks a lion salt and gets a near fall off of a roll-up. The turnbuckle gets exposed. There's a big avalanche butterfly suplex for a near fall. Regal reverses the walls into the Regal stretch. Jericho rope breaks. Jericho makes his comeback, hits the lion salt, and wins. Pretty good match. I gave it 2 3/4 stars.
Yeah, it was
Solid
2
opener.
stars for me. Real solid. Good.
Shane pulls.
Lot of high flying.
Yeah, some high flying from Jericho. And just solid wrestling match. Regal more than did his part here. This isn't the best match either of these guys has had, but it's a pretty good match nonetheless. So Shane pulls up in a WCW limo. We have the APA backstage. JBL starts spouting out random Texas sports history trivia question answers.
Texas stuff, because they're in Texas.
Yes, they're in Houston, Texas, from the Reliant Astrodome, which is no longer the Reliant Astrodome, and actually I don't think exists anymore.
What is it? Is the Chick-fil-A Pepsi KFC Dome?
No, I think they demolished the Astrodome, I think, because the Astros play at Minute Maid Park now.
Okay.
So JBL at the end of that rant mentions they in fact have a match. So it's the APA and Taz, who in 1 year went from ending Kurt Angle's undefeated streak via chokeout to being in a random six-man at WrestleMania. At least he was on the card, though, versus the Right to Censor. The Right to Censor with maybe the best entrance music ever. Just a lot of alarms and sirens.
God.
Just a cacophony of noise.
It's data history. It's art. It's art.
Yeah. So there's an opening kerfuffle. There's a bit of brawling at the start. Farouk and Bull Dempsey start the match as soon as... Or Bull Buchanan, not Bull Dempsey. Start the match after everything gets settled. Taz comes in. They quickly get the heat on Taz for a while. The Good Father, I almost call him the Godfather, but he's the Good Father here, goes for a Vader bomb but misses. I believe Taz gets the hot tag to JBL. Everything breaks down. RTC has the number advantage. JBL avoids a splash and hits the clothesline from hell for the win. It was a decent 6-man, nothing too special. I gave it 2.5 stars.
Yeah, 2.5 stars sounds about right. Yeah, it's a 6-man match. Whatever. I want to get to the next one though. Next one's fun.
Yeah. But first we have Trish. Trish shows up. She's wheeling Linda and a younger but still very much annoying Stephanie McMahon. Interrupts them, giving her some chores to do. And then we get to the next match, which is a triple threat between Raven, Kane, and The Big Show for the hardcore title. Man,
do they do the hardcore title anymore?
No, they don't. That's one they should bring back, because with the network and the 24/7 rule, you could do all kinds of crazy shit, which is having like a breaking network special, such and such hardcore championship defended in fucking, playground or stuff. They used to do so many fun things with the hardcore title. I really miss it.
You can bring back the garbage truck and throw people in the garbage truck like a couple weeks ago.
Like when they did with Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
Compact Braun Strowman.
Just straight murder. Straight
The
murder,
crowd
guys.
even chanted, "This is murder." So anyway, Raven shows up with a shopping cart full of gimmicks. Kane comes out. He is roughly the size of a barn at this stage in his career. Raven tries to get the jump on Kane. That does not work out very well. Kane throws Raven at Big Show. They are almost instantly brawling into the crowd. Heyman has some great commentary here, just going all kinds, throwing out all kinds of weird and cockamamie expressions. But it's
fantastic in the seat. He's just verbiage, the raw verbiage, just talking like this, and then I want him back on the announcement table.
Yeah, I mean, he's wasted because he cuts the same fucking promo about Brock Lesnar every time he's on TV these days.
Oh, yeah, but
no,
now
we have to have
brawling
Booker T on
backstage.
commentary. Yeah, they're brawling backstage. Kane nearly puts Raven through the wall, and then he starts waffling Big Show with gimmicks. I mean, like, how Big Show did not get a concussion in this match, I'll never know, because Kane was not holding back, whacking him with everything that wasn't nailed down.
I loved his expression this whole match, especially, like, it's a little later, but the fucking when he gets the choke slam by Kane, just goes...
Yeah. Raven tries to choke Kane with a garden hose. It doesn't work out very well. Kane ends up throwing Raven through a window. Show puts Kane through a door. And they both crash through a very thin wall.
It's just human wrecking crew.
Yeah.
Back in the arena.
Raven comes in to pick the bones. There's chaos and golf carts everywhere. They apparently... Raven has told this story, and they apparently came like this close to like knocking off the power for the show because they almost ran over the power line. They murder the craft service table.
Guacamole in the camera.
Yeah, there's salad and guac on the camera. Lots of brawling. Raven and Show come out back through the stage. So Kane like shoves Big Show and Raven through the stage, and then he comes off with this flying leg dropped onto the crash pad for the pin and the win on the Big Show. I gave that 3 stars because that was just a lot of fucking fun.
Yeah, 3.5 for me. I love the destruction. I'm like a little kid who just wants to knock everything over. Cause like I see all the crap that happens like on the pay-per-views today, and it's just like when a table breaks, it breaks like in clean like one shot.
A nice cleave.
But like when a table broke in this match, it fucking exploded into just shards.
Well, you had Kane and the Big Show in this match, and they are not small men, so if they go for a table, it's going to explode. And they're very strong, so if they throw Raven through the table, it's also going to explode.
Oh my!
So we have Edge and Christian backstage with Kurt. Kurt is mad about tapping out to Benoit, saying that it didn't technically happen because there was no referee and it wasn't a match. They cut to Jonathan Coachman, who's looking for work after being fired from ESPN. Interviewing a fan from Australia who this is her first WWF event, and as Australians are wont to do, they chant Aussie, 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 oi, 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 as the camera quickly cuts away to The Rock showing up. Then we had Eddie Guerrero versus Test for the now defunct European title. My first note here is it's weird to think that both men in this match are now dead.
Oh yeah, okay. I did not realize that, and yeah, it's like watching ghosts.
Yeah, there are a lot of ghosts on this show. There's brawling to start. There's a quick powerbomb by Test. More brawling outside. Test gets the heat on Eddie, even though he's the heel. Kind of backwards match booking here. Test gets caught in the ropes after whiffing a big boot. Eddie starts to get the heat back on Test, works his knee over, puts him in a sleeper. Test hits a huge backbreaker and this crazy, wacky powerbomb for a near fall. It was like some sort of spinning big Mike Elgin powerbomb. Eddie, I wrote down that Eddie is making Test look like $1 million here. Perry Saturn comes in and hits the low blow for the interference. Test is not selling his knee at all at this point in the match. Eddie spent 5 minutes working it over. Hits a pump handle power slam for the near fall. Big boot to Perry Saturn, big boot to Eddie Guerrero. Dean Malenko comes in to save the pin. Eddie hits Test with the belt for the win. Really, this was the Eddie Guerrero show, and he made this match something special. I gave it 3.25 stars.
3 for me. Yep. Yeah, you said fucking making Test look like $1 million because, like, I've heard a lot about Eddie Guerrero. I haven't heard a lot about Test.
They tried with Test. They really did.
They put him out on a test run.
But it did not go out. I think the most famous Test match you've seen was the Extreme Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
Which tells you everything you need to know about how his career ended up. Mick Foley's backstage. Austin shows up. Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit. It's weird to hear Kurt Angle enter without chance of "you suck." But that was the case here.
It was a different time. He had his hair.
Yeah, he did. Barely, but he had it. So Kurt cuts an awesome promo on Texas. Made me laugh quite a bit. Lots of good wrestling to start out here. Very much a technical mat exhibition there. The crowd was really loving it. Kurt Angle put probably the most awkward-looking inside cradle I've ever seen on a guy. But we won't hold it against him. Benoit tries to put the crossface on Kurt, but he backpedals. Benoit gets the crossface in again, but Kurt's too close to the rope and he breaks it. Angle, after being out-wrestled, just fucking gives Benoit a straight right hand.
No subtlety.
With like the fucking loudest smack I've ever heard. Then they start brawling outside. Hit a few near falls off of some suplexes. Benoit grabs an ankle lock. Angle grabs a crossface. Neither lead to a decision. There's a ref bump. Angle taps out to the crossface, but there's no ref. Angle hits the ankle slam for a near fall. He goes for a Kurt Angle floaty moonsault, but it gets blocked. And then Benoit comes off the top with a flying headbutt for a near fall. Angle kicks out, but grabs the tights on the inside cradle and wins. I gave that 4 stars because that was a just very excellent technical wrestling match.
Yeah, it was just solid. It was the masters of the craft doing all that hot detail work. Yeah, that's a 3.5, 4 for me.
And that's the weird thing to think about is that's not even the best match that these two had.
No.
We're backstage with William Regal and Kamala, of all people, there for the gimmick battle royal, which will be later on the show. We get a quick look at The Undertaker without his hair dye. Ginger Taker, best taker. And then we had Ivory versus China for the women's title. Another ghost in this match. My first note here is, what the fuck is China wearing?
Yeah. It's sparkling purple.
Yeah, I don't even know what to call it. But it was a travesty of fashion. Ivory gets the jump on China. It lasts for all of 3 seconds. China gets the shine, and then that was the whole match pretty much. She hit her big moves, hit a big power bomb, pulls off the pin, and then hits a gorilla press slam for the win.
You did it. You can't say that there weren't women wrestling at WrestleMania X-7.
Nope. It happened. It did. I gave that match a star.
Yeah. Yep. 1 star. Or almost 0 stars, because it happened.
It was what it was. So we had the McMahon street fight. Shane's punches sucked back then just as much as they do now.
Yep.
Vince and Shane come out to the same music.
Awkward.
Shane continued the tradition of missing his elbow drop through the table. It dates back to 2001.
The fucking... All right, did he hit his first coast to coast in this? Was that what that was?
Maybe. I'm not ashamed. This may have been like his first, maybe not his first match, but one of his first matches.
Okay, then that might explain a bit. Because that was towards the end of the match, so we'll keep going. We'll go through the whole street fight part of it first.
Yeah. So Trish comes out, and Vince is giving her marching orders, but she's had enough, and gives him a big old slap in the face. Trish and Stephanie go at it, which consists of Stephanie getting a cheap shot in and then running away from Trish Stratus, who was trying her best to walk quickly in those ridiculous shoes she was wearing.
Oh, wait. Did you forget this was all during when he brought out Mrs. McMahon, right?
Yeah, didn't he wheel Linda out at the beginning of the match?
Was it at the beginning? I thought it was like in the middle. Like he calls her out. Yeah, and she's she's drugged up.
Yeah, she's catatonic, we're told. Vince, they have some more brawling, and then Vince, somewhere in the scuffle, waffles Mick Foley with a chair. Poor Mick Foley can't go in appearance without getting concussed. A chair, and then for the first time ever, I think, a chair is used for its intended purpose on WWF programming.
Yeah,
where Vince just sits down in a chair.
Yeah. Puts her down. He puts Linda down in the chair to watch him beat up her son.
Yeah.
Because it's a good family.
They're a healthy family, yes. Vince starts just abusing Shane with trash cans. Linda gets up. The crowd pops huge for that. Goes low. Kicks Vince in the dick. Foley gets his shots in. Shane hits the coast to coast for the win. Yeah, that was a fun mess. I gave it 3 stars.
Yeah. 2.5 stars for me. Just the zaniness. Yeah, I really think it was Shane's first coast to coast because they didn't know what to call it.
Yeah.
They're just like, he jumped across the ring. He did something crazy. And
it's
thus
possible.
Was established.
I don't remember any Shane McMahon matches before this, so it's entirely possible this was his first match.
And thus began the career of high-flying Shane O'Mac, whose feet got more air and his fist got even more.
That led us to TLC 2. Car crash wrestling at its best, man.
Oh my god. You got that right.
This to go through this move for move could take, hours on end. So we'll just give them the highlights. There was, a lot of ladder spots in the beginning. There were some interesting ones. The one where Jeff Hardy fucked up. He was supposed to walk across the 3 ladders that they had there, but he tripped, and he had to try to salvage it.
Roll with it. There was one where, wait, I'm getting confused. I'm having a brain block. Who was in the red hair?
Lita.
Is that the Hardy? No, Jeff or Matt. One of them was had red hair.
I guess Jeff's hair was dyed kind of red.
Jeff. Okay. He did the fucking sacrifice jump off the 20-foot ladder into the tables, and I heard that he broke one of the other guy's tooth, his front teeth when he came down from that.
It's entirely possible. That was a pretty gnarly fucking drop.
These more tables were exploded. Shit went fucking everywhere. There were gigantic ladders.
There was a spot where I think it was Matt and Devon were on a ladder, and that got pushed out into the ring into 4 tables they had stacked, and they had to leap to make sure they did this huge leap of faith to make sure that they fucking landed on the tables.
Fucking Edge did a spear off of the ladder onto whoever the fuck was hanging onto the belt.
Yeah, Jeff was hanging on the belt.
Fucking Roman.
Yeah, fucking Edge has talked about that, and he even though he didn't take the worst of that, he got knocked loopy from that. So I can only imagine what the fuck happened to Jeff. Dude was suicidal. Spike Dudley got put through about 7,000 tables. Lita got a Hurricane Rana in there somewhere. Rhino did Rhino things. It was an amazing spectacle of a match. One of the best ladder matches of all time. I gave it 4 3/4 stars. My match at the night.
I'll give it 4 stars. Yep. Just for the sheer amount of destruction that went on. There's, in terms of creativity, it was not I've seen more creative matches, but goddamn, that doesn't matter.
I don't know that this was pretty creative. There were a lot of innovative spots in this match, like the air spear and the swanton for the 2 tables, and all having everyone's third posse member get involved.
Yeah, maybe it's a case of Shakespeare is cliche, where we've watched all the new. I've watched all the new Trixie matches where they're doing all this intricate shit. I don't know, but yeah, no destruction is comparable to fucking all this in terms of TLC stuff.
Then we had the gimmick battle royale. They brought out Mean Gene Okerlund and Bobby Heenan, may he rest in peace, on commentary. It was a fun sideshow with all of these stupid gimmicks through years past. It looked like, I think, Sergeant Slaughter was going to get the win, but the Iron Sheik snuck in from behind. The Iron Sheik, who could barely walk at this point.
Fucking bullshit.
Dumps him over for the win, but Sergeant Slaughter comes back in and puts the Cobra Clutch on him. Send the fans home happy. It was amusing. I gave it 2 stars, if not just for the Bobby Heenan commentary.
Yeah, 2 stars. It was, it was a good send back, and if you needed to it was the bathroom card. For me, it was sort of the definition of take a break if you need, because these next 2 matches coming up, fucking, you only need the edge of your seat. You paid for the whole thing.
Yeah.
We'll blast you out of there.
Wrestling today, the wrestling is better, I think we can say, but main events from this point in history just knew how to deliver.
Yeah.
So first up, we had Triple H versus The Undertaker. Triple H was played out by Motorhead, but Lemmy didn't seem to remember the lyrics of the song, so he just kind of winged it.
Yeah.
Undertaker came out and got the big hometown pop. Everyone was an Undertaker fan in the building, it seemed. He rolls down on his motorcycle, and then they start brawling outside. They accidentally break the Spanish announce table.
just in the. Was that the one where it was some length shot or whatever, and they're crawling over it, and he just falls over in the background?
Yes, Triple H is crawling over it, and it just collapses in on itself.
Just actual table destruction. Also, side note, the camera work in this did not make me want to vomit for the most part.
Yeah. Kevin Dunn was still working with the company, I think. I don't know what changed.
I don't know, because they had some real sexy cinematic shots. There was the framing was real nice on a lot of it.
There was no shaky cam and the zooming in and out bullshit.
None of that. I don't know. It had a real classic. It had a classic feel. It's when you think of wrestling, you think of the sort of shots that these cameras captured.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this match was friggin' fantastic and just kept delivering.
Yeah, The Undertaker starts to get the shine on Triple H. He goes for old school, but it gets countered. There's a near fall off of a neck breaker. Taker starts his comeback, but it gets cut off with the Harley Race knee face buster gimmick. There's a ref bump to end all ref bumps. Poor Mike Chioda had to act like he was dead off of an elbow drop from Undertaker for 85 fucking minutes.
Yeah, I think I looked it up. The actual time was 10 minutes and 10 seconds.
of lying there motionless. Oh man, I hope he didn't have to like itch his nose or anything like that. Well, actually, that was the second ref bump. So there was a ref bump in the first. Undertaker hit a choke slam for a near fall, but the ref didn't get there in time to count the 3. So Undertaker got pissed off and beat the fuck out of the ref. They started brawling out into the sound area. Triple H just starts wailing on this guy with a chair. It was a little uncomfortable to watch at points. Stephanie must have said something in the back to give him an extra forehead wrinkle, and he was just taking it out on Undertaker. This poor guy. Undertaker hits a choke slam off the top of the sound tower onto a barely disguised crash pad. And then he does a diving elbow drop off the tower onto the crash pad. They start making their way back to the ring. I mentioned Mike Chioda had his nice 10-minute map there. Taker grabs Triple H's sledgehammer and he goes to fucking just kill this guy. But Triple H low blows him. Undertaker counters Triple H's comeback here with a big boot. Triple H tries to hit a tombstone on the Undertaker, but he was not having it. Reversed hits his own tombstone, but there's no ref. Undertaker calls for the last ride, gets him up. Triple H hits him in the head with a sledgehammer during the powerbomb attempt, but he only gets a 2 count off of that. Taker bled a lot from that. Triple H makes the cardinal sin of facing the Undertaker at WrestleMania and went for the 10 punches in the corner. It was, of course, reversed into the last ride for the pin. I gave that 3 3/4 stars. It was one heck of a match. Part of the excellent trilogy of matches that Undertaker and Triple H had at WrestleMania 17, 27, 10 years later, and 28.
Yep. I really like this. For me, like, I don't know, it's something else. I gave it 4.5 stars. For me, it was, I feel like just the flow for me really stood out. Like, I was never bored. I was never like waiting for something to happen. Everything, it was like a wizard wrestling match. Everything happened when it needed to happen.
Yeah.
You know,
I've seen this match about like 47 times by the time I watched this last week or whenever I watched it. So maybe I just knew, like, I could probably call this match with someone in the ring. We could have this exact match from memory. So maybe that had something to do with it. But yeah, no, it's a great match for sure. I think this was really the start of Undertaker's WrestleMania matches really being quality. Because he went from this one to his match with Ric Flair, which was pretty good. I guess his match at WrestleMania 19 wasn't all that great, and his match at 20 sucked. But he had a good match at 21 with Randy Orton. No, he did not have a good match at 22. That was the casket match with Mark Henry. But then on, it was 23. He had the best match of the night with Batista. And then 24, he had the best match of the night with Edge. And then 25, we know what happened there. And then 26, we know what happened there. 27, another great match with Triple H. 28, another great match with Triple H. 29, great match with CM Punk. And then WrestleMania 30 happened, and it was a little bit downhill from there.
Oh well.
So yeah, that was good. I liked it. And we had The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, number 2, no disqualification for the WWF title. They use this cliche a lot in today's wrestling, but this truly was a big fight feel.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. This, is this my first time? Have we ever watched any other matches with The Rock? Have I ever seen any others? Have you shown me? I'm
not sure. Probably not.
Yeah. But this feels like the first time I've seen it, and yeah, wow, it's two fucking fireballs of charisma just going at it.
Yeah. So no one really quite knew. The commentators were a bit surprised by this no DQ stipulation that seemed to have been added at the last minute. I'll come in later. Stone Cold has his Disturbed theme song, which lyrics that sound like I'm baking a lemon inside you. It's one of my favorite themes for that reason. Austin got a huge pop. He was definitely the babyface here in Texas.
Of course.
And then The Rock came out to it's still a good reaction, but not quite as big as Austin's. And then the match started, and it was just gas from the word go. Lots of brawling, just a crazy pace. Everyone was hitting everyone with everything. Rock hit a stunner, the Stone Cold hit a rock bottom, and then there were stunners everywhere, and rock bottoms, and people's elbows, and everyone's kicking out of everything. And then Vince came out.
And just like that was the spark of like, wait, what?
Someone was up. Vince came out. Vince got involved in the match. He seemed to be helping Austin, but you weren't really sure what was going on. And then after The Rock kicked out of the last stunner or whatever, Austin beckons Vince into the ring. And Vince gives him the chair and just waffles Rock with it. And he pins The Rock, thus cementing the Stone Cold Steve Austin heel turn, a decision that will go down as one of the most controversial in the history of professional wrestling. Yeah, quite a main event. Like, this was not a technical classic. Like, you can go and watch a main event from pretty much any pay-per-view last year, and it will be a better wrestling match than this. But this just delivered, like, the main event feel that you just don't get in today's wrestling. This match was probably the best of the three that Rock and Austin had at WrestleMania, and you know it's historical for its ending and the controversy therein. And then it was all downhill from 2001 because they did the invasion angle, and that did not work as well as they would have hoped. And then WWE was slowly getting worse and worse and worse. And then it got better. And then it got worse again. And then it got better.
But those are all stories to learn and watch later.
Yeah. So I gave this 4.5 stars. It was a good main event.
I also gave it 4.5 stars. How many ways can you define the word climax? It's all here.
Yeah.
Except for maybe the not safe for work one.
Yeah, the crowd was into every near fall, and you know, it's been a while since I had watched the match, so I didn't exactly remember the ending. And even I bought into some of these near falls. I knew there was the heel turn in there somewhere, but I thought they may have been after the match. But I bought into like every Austin near fall in this match. It was pretty crazy. You don't get that same emotion these days, although they totally could. It's 100% their own doing that it's not like this anymore, because they don't let anyone be as over as these guys.
I want to say this. It might be pithy just for the sake of being pithy, but I feel like this got a little punch, and it sort of relates. Wrestling like today, I feel like they're trying to get it down to a science, but this wrestling and the vintage wrestling was an art. Like,
in some respects, I agree with you. It's definitely wrestling today is definitely more technical and focused about work rate, more so than it is telling a story, like this match was. So in that respect, yes. But I think a lot of the story came from how over the characters were, and you know they were over because they were able to be themselves and understand their characters and cut promos that they don't get the cut these days, because you know they write everyone's promo for them, and no one's going to get over saying the shit they give these guys to say.
Yeah.
But they're scared that they're going to become like WWE's scared that someone's gonna get popular like The Rock and then leave them. They have abandonment issues. So that's why that. But yeah, that was WrestleMania 17, top to bottom, one of the best WrestleManias. I don't know if I'll say the best. It's got some stiff competition from WrestleMania 30, and hell, even WrestleMania 31. But certainly a great WrestleMania.
It's in the pantheon.
Yeah, definitely top 5. So we'll maybe watch a show that is not so good next time for the retro review, so we can have fun tearing into some bad wrestling. Maybe we'll even dip our toes into the crazy world of WCW for our next retro pay-per-view review.
Okay.
So that'll be it. But next week we will be back with a Survivor Series predictions video and then Survivor Series review. And I don't know that there's another Raw pay-per-view for the rest of the year. So we'll do some more retro pay-per-views, but we might have to fit them in on off weeks or something like that, because if Brock Lesnar is no longer Universal Champion, then we will be contractually obligated to start reviewing Raw pay-per-views again. But that won't happen, at least until Royal Rumble is probably his next title defense.
Mm-hmm.
So we have until January. All right, so that's going to do it for us. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Peace.